Hi, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Solution Sunday. I am Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and I am here to talk today with my good friend, Lindsey Troumbly, who is also one who has learned how to heal herself. So good morning, Lindsey.
Good morning. I'm super excited to be here, even though it's early for me. I'm not a morning person, but I was like, I will wake up for Lisa and we will have a chat. And so I'm super excited to be here with you. I just finished your book last night. It was phenomenal. I loved it. Fire. I was like, yes, Lisa, yes. So whoever hasn't read Lisa's book, you should read it.
Thank you for that little plug. You can find it on Amazon, The Simplicity of Self-Healing. So when I went to heal myself, I didn't have anybody to kind of guide the way. I didn't have any idea what to do. But Lindsey, what's your story? How did you end up healing yourself? And what was going on?
Yeah, I didn't either. I literally had no idea what to do, to be honest. Like, it started about 8 years ago. Well, probably about a decade ago, but really about 8 years ago. And I had endometriosis. I no longer have it, but I had it. And I went all the Western medical routes that I could go to. And my last thing was I had surgery with the best of the best. I knew I was getting, the best medical care out there. And yet I still had pain. And so I knew that I was done exhausting the Western medical world. I had done literally everything that they said I could do at that point, other than putting myself into menopause at 28 years old. And I was absolutely not willing to go down that route. And so, yeah, so before my surgery, I'd actually been, looking into diet a lot and nutrition. And so I kind of started there. But it wasn't until after my surgery that I really began to be able to listen to my body, because I think when I was in so much chronic pain all the time, it was just like I was so disconnected from myself because I could only focus on my pain. And it was just like pain, pain, pain. And it was this mind loop of pain. And it was physical, it was mental, it was emotionally exhausting all the time. And so I recommend, like, if women are at that spot where they need surgery, to get that so you can get, the tissue cleared out so that you can have like a step one. So that was like my step one. And then I started diving into yoga and mindset stuff. And over the years, I just stopped focusing on endometriosis and started just focusing on healing. So, healing my traumas from my past that I'd been carrying around for a long time, and developing my intuition with my body. And what I teach my clients is huge. And I start with food because I feel like it's so easy to pay attention, have a food journal, pay attention to what you're eating and how that food is affecting your body. So, is this a food that is making me feel good, or is this a food that is giving me inflammation and pain? And it's really that simple. But it's like we're so disconnected from ourselves and our bodies that we eat so many things on a daily basis, and we're not paying any attention to what we're putting into our body and how that's affecting the way that we feel. And so that was my step one, is just literally figuring out all my inflammation triggers. So for me, red meat, dairy, and gluten are my three things that I'm like, okay, these are the things that I feel are not great for me personally. And I did that over time. I did elimination diets because it was the easiest way. It's free. You literally just eliminate one thing out of your diet for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you introduce that back in, and your body will send you some severe signals if you're not supposed to eat that food after that amount of time. And that's developing that intuition gut connection, or that brain gut connection. And so that's where it really started. And then I was like, okay, I got my diet down. I'm still not, I still have pain. It's better, but I still have pain. And so then I went into just, I love self help and personal development. And so I really just like dove into, first it was the self help books, and then it became the spirituality books. And so books for me have been like my lifeline. I read the books, I take in the information, I filter through that information, and I introspect on it, and then I apply it to my life. And so just clearing out a lot of the things, like I said, a lot of like my abandonment issues from my dad, a lot of my boundaries with my mom that literally lacked any boundaries with my mother whatsoever. And so I actually had to, in 2017, just cut out every toxic thing in my life, every toxic person, every toxic energy, all these things, and just start building myself back up with Lindsey 2.0 is what I like to call her now. It's because I feel like I'm like not even the same person at all. I feel like I'm like a completely different person. And even though I'm continuing to grow 2.5 and 3.0, and I'll never stop growing, I just having those boundaries, being able to speak your truth and stand up for yourself, and set those boundaries is like the ultimate form of self-love. I think it's the best thing that you can do for yourself, because when I finally did that, when I was like, Mom, I'm not your counselor, I'm your daughter, and I cannot help you, like you have to help yourself. And I had to literally cut her out of my life for like a couple of years until she got to the point where she hit her rock bottom, and then she grew and evolved, and now we have a great relationship. But it's like, even if it's family, you just have to cut out the toxicity, because it was affecting my energy, it was affecting my emotions. I realized, like, when I cut that stuff out, like, even though I'm a very emotional being, like, I'm pretty chill most of the time. Like, my emotions are not like this. And my entire life they were like, but they were other people's stuff, not my own stuff. It was other people's stuff that was literally affecting me. And over the last year, I it the most because of isolation and being alone so much. I'm like never really like up here, down here. Like, I'm pretty grounded, I'm pretty chill until somebody else comes and their emotions affect me. And so, being an empath, I'm very affected by people's emotions. And so I've had to learn to set those emotional boundaries. And that was like a huge thing for me that I didn't even know was going on. Like, I had no idea that like these were not my emotions, like these were other people's emotions that were affecting my life. And so yeah, as I healed all that crap and got all of that out of the way, I really developed my intuition, and now I like just 100% lead with that. And I don't have this mind body conflict going on all the time, like the head and heart push and pull thing that I used to have. It was like I literally could not make a decision because my head would be like, blah, 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 blah. And then my gut would be like, nah, you probably shouldn't do that. And a lot of the time I went with my head, to be honest. So, like, my entire life, I was taught, go to college, get a job, do all those things. And I did all those things and I did them all in the smart way, right? Like, so I went to college, got the degree, made sure that I did an internship for 2 years. So when I got out of college, I could go right into the workforce because they want 2 years of experience for an entry level position. And so I like set myself up. I had recruiters knocking down my door when I graduated. I went and worked for the top companies in Minnesota that everyone in my college was trying to get into, Target and Best Buy and all these things. And I was just like, this is it? Like, this is all life is like going to a cubicle every single day and just like burning myself out. And so I quit so many jobs, like, and then I moved to Austin and I was trying to develop this app, and I learned like, yeah, Lindsey, you're probably better off as a self-employed person than an employee. But like, I still kept going back to like that, you're not going to make it, like, you need stability, you need this, you need that. And so it's only been in the last couple of years that I've literally been able to develop my intuition enough to trust myself, to trust that I can go my own way and I can figure out my own life, and I don't have to live by all these other people's expectations and being super self-critical of not doing that, or feel like I never felt like I fit in, but I always like tried to, right? Like, I always tried to do the smart thing and try to do the practical thing. And it was like I was never happy, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why I was going from job to job to job to job, and like none of them were satisfying me, and I felt like my soul was literally dying. So I would quit that job and I would go find a different job because that's what you do. Like, you need money and there's no other way. And that's what I was taught. And so my biggest thing, like a year and a half ago, was I invested in a money mindset program. So I like completely eliminated all my limiting beliefs about money. And now it's like I don't even see things the same way as I used to. It's just so mindset, nutrition, and mind, body, spirit. That's why we're here, right? Like, holistic health is 100% my path. And as I've just continued to heal every piece of this puzzle and put them together, my symptoms of endometriosis, or whatever you want to call it, is less and less and less and less as you just like begin to heal each part of you and put those pieces together as like you're one, right? Like we're so disconnected from ourselves, we're so separated, like, and that's what Western medicine teaches you, especially in the world that I lived in with this incurable disease, right? Is that this disease is your life. You're going to deal with this for the rest of your life. There's things that we can do to help you, but you're never going to get rid of this. And so it makes me so mad now because it puts you in such a disempowered state that you're succumbing into yourself. Like, you're succumbing to your disease. You become your actual disease and you don't even realize that you're doing it at the time. It's just like you feel like hopeless and there's no way out and I'm never going to get rid of this. So I just survive. I don't thrive. I don't, live my life to the fullest. I just go through the motions of life and I get by day by day by day. And that's it. That's all there is. And so I don't know. I think it was maybe the 7 years of being told that there was nothing wrong with me when there actually was. And then finally having a diagnosis. And then there's still not. It was like, I know my body better than you do. I know my body, like, and I'm gonna figure this shit out. Like, that's basically what my attitude was. Like, I had no idea how I was gonna do it, but I was like, I am not listening to your BS because you literally haven't helped me this entire time. And all like psychiatrists did, it was in my head, right? Like it kind of was. Now I get that, but like the way that they put it, when you're going through chronic pain day in and day out, and you go to Western Medical and they do every single test on you, blood tests, urine tests, all these things, and they can't find anything wrong with you, then it's like gaslighting, medical gaslighting. Like, it's all in your head. You need to go to therapy. And so therapy did not help me. What helped me was understanding my body and listening to my body and being able to connect the dots as I moved along my healing journey of like, oh, when I do this, I feel better. And when I do this, I feel better. And so, yeah, that's my story.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I love that you talked about the how pain separates us from our bodies. That we don't want to be in our bodies when we're in pain,
Right.
and
Who wants to be in pain?
right, exactly. And then when we're in pain, then we start resenting our bodies for being in pain. It's like,
Absolutely.
what's wrong with you, body? Why aren't you functioning properly? And it really um, causes so much resistance in the body that the body can't heal itself. Usually, when we're in pain, there's a reason why that's there. And usually, the body is actually in the process of healing itself. And we've never been taught about actual healing, what the body actually goes through. If you think about healing is a reconstruction process. And when I started my healing journey, I thought that healing meant that, oh, well, I would just automatically just start feeling better and better and better every single day, and it would just be like magic.
Right. It's not like that at
It,
all.
exactly. Once
It's
I
so
finally
not like that. It's
understood.
like peaks and valleys, and you think you're, getting better, and then you feel worse, and that's kind of what makes you not trust yourself, right? It's because you start doing these things, and then you're like, well, I'm not feeling better, and this isn't working, and this isn't working, and this isn't working, and oh, this is making me feel worse, so I'm not gonna continue to go through that. But I think what we really need to understand is that we heal from going through the pain. And I think Western medicine makes us try to escape the pain and dull the pain and cover up the pain, because nobody wants to be in pain. I don't either. But the pain is just your body's alarm system telling you that your body there's something off balance. There's something that's not right. And when we dull those symptoms, then we're dulling ourselves from going through that. Like, in any kind of religion, it's not about this, like, ooh, it's like suffering, a lot of suffering, and then you get to the like light, you know? It's like we have to go through the suffering in order to get to the light, the healing. And a lot of people, I mean, talk to anybody that's self-healed or talk to anybody that's gone through any kind of disease and had a miracle cure, and it's like they didn't just automatically woo, you know, it was like you go through all the pain and the suffering, and that's how you figure out how to get to the light. And we're not taught that because we're given drugs in order to, you know, dull our senses and to cover up our pain and to escape our pain. And we're told that these pharmaceuticals help our symptoms, but really they're not doing anything for the root cause of the actual disease. They're just making you more disconnected from yourself and your body. And so I absolutely just refused to do any of that stuff and went through a hell of a lot of pain and a hell of a lot of discomfort. And I mean, 2017 was a rough year for me, like cutting out my family and starting over and cutting out everyone that was toxic in my life was like, I literally felt like I was alone. But then I realized, like, if you feel like you're alone after you cut everyone toxic out of your life, then holy crap, there was a lot of toxic in your life, and that was like dragging your ass down, right? And so I remember my last straw was this friend, and I called them energy vampires because she literally, it was one of those people where you felt sorry for them, so you befriended them, and then you thought, well, if I can be their friend, I can probably, you know, help fix them. And then it just got like deeper and deeper to her taking advantage of that, and then gaslighting me to feel like, you know, you're a bad friend and all this stuff. And when I cut her out of my life, I was like, holy crap, I have so much more time in my life to like do other things, because I was wasting so much time and energy on this person that I realized when she wasn't there anymore, it was like I just felt light. I felt free. I felt like I had so much more time to spend on me. And then that's when I really started realizing like other people's stuff affects you. Because I literally didn't know that before. I had no idea of the concept of other people's energy affecting my body in a physical or mental way until that year. And then I just was like, okay, I'm not letting anybody toxic into my life. And I really haven't since then. And it's just like my energy and my emotions and how I deal with stress and everything has just gotten so much easier because I don't have all this stuff coming at me all the time, that I can actually connect with myself and feel like I don't have to deal with everyone else's stuff. Because as an empath, it was like I understood that I was like dealing with their problems, but I didn't understand that their actual energy was affecting me on a physical level. So it was like I was the person that wanted to fix everybody all the time, but in doing that, I was like killing myself in the process, to be honest. Like it was that bad.
Yeah. You know, we've never, because we can't see energy with our eyes,
Right.
we don't have any idea that it even exists. We've never been taught about energy, but everything is energy. And it energy, we form energy into our life circumstances all the time. Our beliefs form energy. Thoughts are energy. And when we put a cohesive thought together into a belief, that structures energy, and then that energy forms into the structure of our lives. And we don't really understand how the energy is affecting us. And when we feel fear and guilt and shame and anxiety, look at how prevalent anxiety is.
Oh, yeah.
And it
I used
doesn't
to have
belong to
horrible
anyone.
anxiety,
Me
horrible
too.
anxiety.
Yeah. And what I realized after a while is, oh my gosh, this doesn't belong to me. This energy literally does not belong to me at all.
I just
And
laugh because it's like, it's so funny, right? It's like when you realize it, it's funny because it's like most of my life I was dealing with other people's crap and didn't even know I was.
absolutely. And our bodies are the ones that tell us. Our bodies are actually our best friends, because our bodies tell us the minute somebody else's energy is in our space, because we'll feel that little discomfort, that little
Yeah.
resistance, that little bit of tightness. And it's simply our body going, hey, somebody else's energy is in here. You're thinking thoughts that don't belong to you. But then we get so caught up in the thoughts of what's wrong with me, what's going on, why do I feel this way, blah, 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 blah. And we're so caught up in the thoughts that we don't notice that, hey, wait a minute, there's an energy here that doesn't belong to me. Let me clear out the energy. And then the thoughts go away, because if the energy's not there, the thoughts that are attached to the energy aren't there either. So we've never been taught how to actually look at energy and manage our energy. And when we do learn that, then we can start keeping body, mind, and soul in balance. And this is really the key. I love that you're talking about this, because energy is the key to everything. The ability to manage our energy and to notice energy, and to be able to have the tools to clear out the other people's stuff from our space. When we start to realize that physical dis-ease is simply, we've been carrying around this energy that doesn't belong to us for so long that our bodies are reacting and showing us, hey, here's the patterns that don't belong to you. And
Right.
every single thing that shows up in our body is pointing directly to the energy and the thought pattern. So like what we're struggling with, our bodies are literally trying to help us overcome the struggle. And I didn't realize this,
Who does? Like,
right?
who teaches people this? Like, nobody teaches people this. We go through
I
our
do.
entire life. Well, we do, yes. But I mean, we had to like figure it out though for ourselves type
Exactly.
of thing. And it's like society doesn't teach us this. It's programmed. And what really stuck out to me in your book as I was reading it last night is like you were saying, your body wants to be healthy. Your body wants vitality and health and everything. And you're the one that's keeping it from healing by bringing in all this crap. And so you're the one that can get yourself out of it too. And like what Western medicine and Western society teaches us is the complete opposite. Like, like autoimmune diseases other than cancer are probably the most prevalent thing right now going on, and it's like there's 250 autoimmune diseases, but if you Google what is autoimmune disease, it will literally tell you that it's the body attacking itself. It's like the body attacking health. It even says it's the body attacking healthy cells when it isn't supposed to. And so how in the hell are we supposed to think that our body is not on attack? You know what I
Right?
mean? Like
Exactly.
we're
We are,
taught that from the
yeah,
time that we're 5 years old, or the time that we can resonate, that when you get a cold, when you get a flu, when you get a virus, when you get anything, it's because your body's immune system is not up to par and it's attacking whatever this outside invader is, like a virus or whatever it is. And now it's like 1,000 times fear because of corona and the pandemic, that this virus is out to kill us. And our body is like not equipped to handle this. And so
which
that
is one of the biggest psyops ever. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. Our bodies are built with immunity. Natural immunity is completely natural. It's built right into the system. Our bodies were designed by source to perfection. So when, as you're talking and, and showing what the prevailing attitude is toward our bodies, it's kind of easy, at least for me. I
understand why we're so sick
to
in society right
everybody.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're just taught that anything that shows up in our bodies means that our bodies are being attacked by something.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that is completely not true. Whatever shows up in our bodies is our bodies literally trying to help us through an emotional crisis.
Well, and then we're also taught like endometriosis is your body being built not up to par. It's a genetic mutation
Right.
of, and so are all these other diseases. Oh, you're prone to have X, Y, and Z because your grandma had it, or your mom had it, or somebody in your family had it. And so it's like we're just taught to think that we're going to get these diseases, and we have to do everything that we can to avoid getting these diseases. And that's how we think. We don't think like we can prevent these diseases from happening to us, or when our body does get into disease or out of balance, that we can actually do anything about it. Like this is just not something that is taught. But like you're the power of us. When I learned that our mitochondria produce energy 5 times the power of a lightning bolt, I was like, game changer. Like if one mitochondria cell can produce that much energy, then what is our billions of cells in our body able to produce if we nurture our mind body soul connection and we allow it to actually do so. But like 90 probably percent of the planet right now is not producing that energy because we're not allowing that energy to be produced. It's like all these things are dulling our energy, our beliefs, the toxins that we're exposed to, all this stuff on a daily basis is just like we're vibrating as a society at a very low level right now. And you have to ask, like, why haven't we ever been taught any of this stuff? Well, I know the reason, but I don't know if we want to get into that right now. But just like the empowerment that happens when you realize like what your body is actually made to do and what it's capable of doing is like you understand why you're not no one talks about this stuff. Because if everybody knew this stuff, then the world as we know it right now would cease to exist.
Correct.
And that's how powerful it is. Like we would not be able to be controlled We would not be able to be manipulated. We would not be able to be dulled by fear. I mean, think about it. We spent a year and a half inside of our houses, afraid to go out in society, afraid to interact with other people because we're told that this thing is going to attack and kill us.
Right.
Like, and then it's like put this injectable into your body with God knows what's in it, and that's supposed to protect you, but we're finding out that it's not protecting you because it's that fear that's still there. So people are still getting sick.
Absolutely. And now that it's a big rabbit hole to
I haven't had COVID. Have you had COVID?
Does not exist in my reality, as a matter of fact. Like, it literally does not exist in my reality. And it's not like I can see what it is, and it's a thought pattern. And when we've all heard that our thoughts create our reality, but most people have absolutely no idea what that means. But it's literally our beliefs that turn into our physical experiences. So like every
not the other way around. It's not like we're we're victims of all our circumstances in our life and what happens to us, and that's what we're literally taught is like separation. And why do you think everything is so ass backwards? Like, have you ever just like thought about why everything is so freaking backwards? Because it's like when you actually learn, even when you learn this stuff, it's like, had I not gone through it personally before I actually discovered, like, if I would have read your book like 10 years ago, I would have been like, this is bullshit. Right. You know what I mean? Like, until you actually go through it, it's like you can't recognize. And that's what I was talking about yesterday on my social media, is like, we have to heal ourselves, and in doing so we have to go through this stuff. We have to learn like what our wounds actually are so we can heal them, because you can have doctors and therapists and coaches and all these people telling you like, this person is toxic in your life and this is affecting you on a mental or physical level because of what's going on with your energy or whatever. But if you don't believe it, right, then it really doesn't matter. And so like I said, had I read your book like 10 years ago and not gone through it, my own journey from dark to light, from going through all the steps that I explained that I went through, I would be like, this is crap. Like, this is stupid. But like, when you actually go through it and then you learn, it's like everything makes sense. Absolutely. Everything is like, I don't question it because I went through it. I experienced it for myself. So it's like, how can it not make sense? And so I think maybe the solution to, I don't know, all this fear and anxiety and everything is to just stop dulling your pain. Stop trying to escape your pain. Stop trying to like cover up your pain and just actually like sit with it. Like, sit in your pain with your body and just go through it and figure out what the root cause of the pain is, because until you actually do that, you're not going to believe any of this stuff that we're talking about. Like, it's just, you'd have to go through it. And that's my challenge with my clients, or even getting clients to understand what I do and how I can help them, is they're so programmed by what Western society says that they're not even ready to accept the fact that they can self-heal, and they're not they're disempowered by society, and they're not empowered to take life by the hands, be like, I'm taking personal responsibility for my health and my well-being, and I am open-minded. I think that's like the number one thing. You just have to be open-minded. Like, I had no freaking idea what I was doing. Like, I was
Right. I
28
didn't
years
either.
old, and I was just sick of being sick and tired all the time. And I was like, I'm just going to try things. I'm going to try yoga and see what it does. I'm going to try meditation and see what it does. I'm going to try all these things. And in doing that, there was some things that didn't work for me, and I got rid of those things. And then other things that I felt like did work, I just kept those. And I just kept, it was like building blocks. Like, I just kept building my, tower of health. And I'm still not like 100% better. Like, I have pain sometimes and stuff, but the difference is that I can bring myself back into balance. Like you said, like, I can understand where it's coming from, or I can figure it out. I can sit with it, and I can like move through it instead of trying to just like run from it or escape it or dull it, or medicate myself to the point where I'm disconnected from my body again. So that's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Once I went through this whole process and learned that everything I knew was wrong about my body.
I know, it's
I had
like,
been
oh my
taught
gosh.
completely backwards about my body. In my own journey was that as I started my spiritual path, like I started to realize, like, oh my gosh, I've got all this energy in my field that doesn't belong to me. I have all these other people's ideas, and it's like, wow, I need to start clearing out all of these limiting beliefs because they don't belong to me. And as I went on my spiritual path, my health got worse and worse and worse. And I couldn't figure out why. Like, I'm getting this. I'm on my path to mastery. Like I'm understanding. I'm on my spiritual journey, but now my health is getting worse. I didn't understand that my body was actually going into healing. And then, the crisis of, oh my gosh, I have cancer, blah, 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 massive crisis, was like, I didn't understand that was actually a sign that my body was in healing. And I didn't understand that healing is actually the painful part. I thought healing
Yep.
was supposed to be like the walk in the
Well,
park.
that's what
No,
we're taught, right?
right?
Like
So
when
I now talk about healing like rebuilding a house. Like if you have a bunch of wear and tear on your house and you want to do an upgrade, what's the first thing that's going to happen? They have to go in and they have
got
to
it.
rip out all the old stuff. They
Yeah.
have to lay a foundation, and then they hammer and nail and bang and all the new structure going in before the finish work happens, before you put the final coats of paint and make it look all beautiful.
Make it
So
look
then
prettier.
you have so the healing is that same process. It's a reconstruction process. So we've just simply been taught that, as soon as the body starts going into pain and showing symptoms, it's like, oh, well, there's something wrong. But it's sort of like, if you've never redone a home and you hire a construction crew and you walk in a week into the process, you go, oh my God, they're ruining my house. They're ruining my house. Like,
Right.
no, your body is going through a reconstruction process, and it gets worse or more painful before it gets better. So one of the things that I realized was that we are taught completely backwards. And because the body is actually in healing when the pain shows up, masking the pain is actually stopping the healing process.
Right.
It's actually prolonging a process. And this is not 100% across the board. Sometimes Western medicine is extremely helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, however, the majority of times it is actually not so much. And our
So,
beliefs, you know, when we believe that we are being attacked by a disease, it's devastating. It puts us in victim mode automatically, because if we're being attacked by an enemy that we can't see with our eyes, but we're feeling the effects of the attack, but we can't actually see the attacker. It's simply, the attacker is everywhere. No matter where I went, that cancer was still there, even though I couldn't see it as an entity unto itself. Wherever I was still feeling the effects of being attacked. And it puts you directly in the back seat. And it's like you want to be in the driver's seat with your body. So as long as we are in that mindset of, uh-oh, there's something wrong with me, I'm being attacked, we can't heal from that position. It was only when, after I sat in meditation long enough, asking, what do I need to know about this? And then finally, bang, that light bulb moment came on. It was like, hey, Lise, you're not being attacked by anything. Your body is literally trying to help you. And it was clear as day. And I realized, oh my gosh, we've been taught completely wrong about our bodies. And in that moment, I was able to take all of my power back. That cancer enemy suddenly just vanished. It was like I realized that it was completely an illusion. It was not true at all, period. And then I realized, wait a minute, instead of me being afraid of this invisible enemy, let me flip this around and let me start trusting my body. Because you know what? My body knows exactly what to do. If I get a break or a cut or a sprain or a bruise, my body knows exactly what to do. I don't have to do anything to get it to heal itself. It does it automatically. And I realize that as soon as we start trusting our bodies and we just start to learn a little bit differently than what we've been taught, when we go beyond the current belief systems and we start to actually take control and we come at it from, my body knows exactly what it's doing, then healing happens lickety split. Because it's the fear, it's the resistance, it's the not trusting our bodies that prolongs that healing process or even prevents the healing process.
Yeah. So much yes, 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 yes. I totally agree. And I feel like it's like you're in the Matrix, like you took the red
Yes,
pill.
absolutely. You
That's how
got
I
it.
feel, because it's like you have to completely unlearn everything that you've ever been taught about disease and all this stuff in order to actually take control back and get empowered again. And so it's like, so what are your three main things, do you think, that you do to like keep yourself in energetic balance, energetic hygiene?
Well, for me personally, I work backwards, meaning that I look at myself, we are all infinite beings. We are non-physical beings having a physical experience. As the soul, because right, the soul is the solution. This is why we have Soul-Lution Sunday.
Yeah, I
I
like
look at
that
myself
little
as the soul, the infinite being that when I am being who I truly am, we're source. That's really what and who we are. So there's literally nothing to fear here. So when I'm feeling shame or guilt or doubt or fear or any of those negative emotions, I know instantly that either I've taken on somebody else's energy or I'm thinking thoughts that simply aren't true for me. So I start to really notice what I feel like, because my body is my sensor. It's the thing that's telling me what's going on with my energy. And the thoughts and the energy are always connected. So when we start to look, the thoughts that we think, the beliefs that we have are the stories that we tell. And then when we have a story and we put a lot of energy into that story, that just simply plays out as our reality. So I'm always looking at, what story am I telling about this? Is there something in my life that's uncomfortable or undesirable? What story am I telling that is making that show up as part of my reality? And what energy is attached to that? So how is it making me feel? Does it make me feel powerless? Does it make me feel anxious? Does it make me feel afraid? And then you look and you go, okay, well, look at the energy that's attached to that, and start clearing out the energy, and start to look at, well, wait a minute, do I have to tell this story? What would be a better story that I would rather tell? And it's like, I didn't really feel like telling the story of cancer. I would rather tell the story of well-being. And this brings us back to, in the beginning, you were talking about, I got tired of looking at endometriosis and the disease and what's going wrong with me. And I'd rather look at what's going right with me. I'd rather focus on healing. So that's the other thing. It's like we're taught to focus on what we don't want. And when we focus on what we don't want, then what we don't want just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We have to
Yeah.
turn and we have to literally focus on what we do want in order for that to manifest. So that's my other tip. And the things that I do to keep myself in balance. Like, I stay focused on what I truly want. What do I really want? Like, I just want to live in heaven on earth. Like, I want to live in peace and ease and joy and harmony and well-being. So I make it my business to focus there. I make it my business to see that on a daily basis. So I look inside, because all those things are inside. I can find peace and ease and harmony and joy simply by focusing on those qualities of energy inside. And I make sure that I'm drawing forth those energies every day. Confidence, certainty, love, dignity, all of the things that I would like to have experience with. And all the stuff that I don't want to experience, I make sure that I clear it out, because we don't have to experience anything that causes us pain and struggle. Totally optional.
I know, right? Like, it's like most people don't even realize that. Like, that you have the choice. Like, you have the
Absolutely.
choice to choose what your thoughts are. You have control of your thoughts. Like, your
Yeah,
thoughts don't control you, you control them. And so it's like you choose how you want your day to go. Like, there's all these external things happening all the time, but you can choose how to respond to those things. Like,
absolutely.
I don't get stressed out very much anymore. Like, it takes a lot to actually on my system to actually make me feel super stressed out. But the same things happen all the time. Like, it's just how you react to them. And it's not about coping. It's about, and that's what we're taught too, is like
Yeah,
coping with your feelings. Like, how do I not feel this or not feel that? For me, it's about completely feeling it and then letting it go, like moving through the emotions rather than repressing them, denying them, or coping with them as this like bad thing that happens to you. Like, don't feel these things or try not to feel these things, feel these other things. And that's like another thing I think that even people that are trying to, you know, cope with their disease are going about it the wrong way, because you don't you're still looking at it as something that you don't want, but you're dealing with anyways, right? And
We're
so it's
believing
like
you're stuck with
coping
it.
is our number one thing that we're taught to do with illness or disease, is to cope with the pain, but don't cope with it. Like, feel it, sit with it, and then surrender to it, and like let it move through you, let it go past you, because then it's not there anymore. When you cope with things, you hold on to them forever and ever, because it's still in your energetic space. Like, you're still thinking about the pain. How do I cope with stress? How do I cope with pain? How do I cope with negativity or disempowered emotions? It's not about coping. I hate that word now. Like, it's about being empowered, that you have that power to change your reality, to change your thought process. And once you realize that, it's like, oh, I don't have to react to this negatively. I can choose to not let this bother me. I can choose to not let this affect me. And so you actually block a lot of the things that you didn't even realize that were coming at you before, because it's like you're aware. You can't change something you're not aware of. So
Exactly.
yeah, so if like awareness for me is the number one thing every single day. Like I don't meditate every single day, I'll be honest. Like, I do it when I feel like I need answers or I need to quiet and ground myself, but being aware and being mindful is an everyday thing for me. And then being grateful for things. Like, I have a gratitude journal and I write down what I'm grateful for, at least 3 things every single night. I'll reflect on my day and I'll think about, it can be something super small, like a cup of really good tea, or it can be something that happened to me, like this conversation. I'm super grateful for this right now. So it's like, but it gets you in a different mindset. Like, I used to be this person that I said that I was a realist. And so I was like, when good things happen, I was great and I was in a great positive mood and everything. But then when bad things would happen to me, I would go down this rabbit hole of this negative mind loop. So you can imagine what happened to my mind when endometriosis happened to me. When And it was so weird, because it was like the best time in my life. I had just met he's now my ex, but I had just met this man that I was like falling in love with, and I was super happy, and I was not feeling any kind of, negativity or whatever. And I woke up one day and I was in pain. And then it was like the next day I was in pain. And then the next day I was in pain. And then it literally just never stopped. It was like one day I just woke up in pain, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse until I started to figure it out. And it
Right.
was like it was just one day that literally nothing was wrong in my mental reality. Like, there was nothing going on. I wasn't stressed out. I wasn't in emotional turmoil. I was super happy with this man at the time. I was in love. I was happy with my life. And that's when it happened.
That's when your body went into healing. That's
Yeah.
when all of a sudden now it's like, wow, everything is really good. And your body's like, phew, everything is good. Now I can bring myself back into balance. And that's when all the symptoms showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we've all been taught backwards, the symptom shows up and it's like, oh no, there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
But had you actually known that the
Right.
symptoms mean that are in healing, you would have come at it from, oh my God, my life is good. my body is now healing. And you would have been most likely able to move through that phase of, all right, I'm going to need to be gentle with myself for a little while as I heal, but my body's got my back.
Because I didn't recognize and I couldn't do that. And I hated my body for so long. And I was angry at the world because I was like, I don't understand why this is happening to me.
Exactly. You've never been taught.
Drug out the process for another decade until I actually figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's like, that's why I'm so passionate about this. That's why I have conversations like this with people like yourself, because it's like, I want people to know the truth. Like, I want people to be able to recognize and sit with their pain and know that that's not a bad thing. That is, it's like, give yourself love, give yourself compassion, and move through it instead of hating your body, resenting your body, being angry at your body, because like you said, all those things manifest in your reality then, and then you're not able to heal yourself. It's like your body's trying to heal, it's trying to tell you that I'm in this reconstruction process, but you're putting the brakes on it. You're limiting yourself from actually getting to the other side of the remodel. It's like we're stopping right in the middle of reconstruction and we're just going to sit here for years and years and years. And the more that you sit there, the more your mental reality becomes this negative, dark, gloom, and doom place that you're actually unable to get out of. It's like you do get stuck in this negative mind loop that you need help. You need somebody like me or yourself or somebody that has been there, done that, and been on the other side to help you realize your power again, to help you realize what's actually going on, or you're just literally stuck for the rest. It could be the rest of your damn life that you're just stuck in this, like, I'm healing but not able to heal process, and your body keeps, and then your negativity keeps manifesting other things. And that's why I think so many women that have endometriosis have X and Y and Z, because it's just like they can't get out of it. They're super negative all the time about everything that's happening. Themselves, they hate their body, they hate their life, they hate their disease, they feel disempowered, and then other symptoms start showing up of in different parts of the body because that part of the body has already been destroyed, and so it just keeps moving around because the energy it's blocked. It doesn't have anywhere to go. It can't. It's like you said, it's like putting a boulder in the middle of a river. Like, the water has to go around it. Well, when you start putting all these boulders in the river, the water can't go through at all. And so it's just like all this energy that's trying to go through you and flow through you that actually makes your body heal, because you need that energy to heal your body. Gets stuck and then you can't heal.
Exactly. So we have Shannon. Good morning, everybody that's been listening. So Shannon has one question. As a natural chef, I cook and use food as medicine for my clients with various conditions. The key is listening to my client's body and not following a specific diet, but more of restorative eating based on how it feels in my client's body. It changes often, and that's okay. How does GNM approach food as medicine? GNM is short for German New Medicine.
Yeah, German New Medicine. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So are you familiar with German New Medicine?
I have literally just learned about it like a month ago, and I had a consult and a session with Deanna Courtney. I know that you're friends with her, and she really taught me a lot about, that manifestation that I mean, I already knew it, but it was like a different perspective of your body when it's actually, because my dog was the reason I consulted her, because he was recently diagnosed with a degenerative neurological disease. And I was like, well, I know how to heal myself through my own thought process, but how do I help him? Because I don't know his thought process. Like, I don't know what's going on in his world of, and she said like something at some point made him feel stuck. And so like he couldn't run or jump, or he had some kind of fall or trauma or something, and now he's just like stuck in that place. And so I've been just really trying to encourage him to, you know, move through that, and doing energetic healing on him to help move his energy through his body and stuff. So she was really great. Anyways, I had literally never heard of that specific modality until recently, but makes sense. Makes sense.
It's really not a modality. It is just literally how the universe works. It's the proof that our thoughts create our reality. And
Right.
it shows the exact thought patterns that create the exact physical symptoms. So for like endometriosis is a loss conflict. So when you lose someone who is close to you, whether it's just a relationship, or women losing a child, having a miscarriage, all of that, that affects the ovaries. So that's the conflict that is associated with endometriosis. But as far as German New Medicine and diet is concerned, really there's not a food protocol, other than in the last part of the healing phase, you need a lot of protein for the body to help rebuild itself. But there's not really a specific diet that I know about. I'm not a German New Medicine practitioner, but hopefully that answers your question, Shannon.
So from what I understand, and why food actually can be used as medicine, helps as medicine for a lot of people, including myself, is food is energy. And but not fake food.
Yeah.
So it's
like substances.
Food like pizza and Oreos and all these things are not energy, but food grown from the earth is actually picking up that energy in the minerals that are in the food. And that's another reason why I feel like we're so sick in society now, is because we've changed our farming practices and included all these, pesticides, chemicals, and we have less energy in our food. And so when we have less energy in our food, then we have less energy that we can take from that food into our bodies to heal and to basically balance out our energy in our body. And so that's why I think food really helps. And I think it's completely depending on the person, on, which food is going to balance out their energy the most. But I would focus on, and do focus on, just eating food from the earth, eating a whole food, as much as you can organic, just because you're getting more energy from that. You're getting more minerals from that food. And so that's, I think people are like, you are what you eat, because food is energy and you are energy. And so, but like I said, French fries and pizza and Oreos and all these things that are made in a lab, basically, from all these like chemicals and GMOs and all this stuff, that's energy too, because everything is energy, but it's not good energy. It's not
life force energy.
It's not life force energy. It doesn't fuel your body to heal.
Exactly. Beautiful. Well, Lindsey, this has been such a great conversation. I really have enjoyed having this conversation with somebody else who has learned how to heal herself as well, and has learned that when you know how to heal your own body, you're fully empowered.
You
Like,
are.
you're not a victim of diseases anymore, or stories of diseases anymore. We don't have to buy into the stories that tell us we're going to get sick if we don't do this or that or the other thing. And we can actually keep our own bodies in health and balance all the time when we start to understand how energy works, how our thought patterns work, and how our bodies are always on our side. And everything is healable. Don't ever believe that something is incurable. The only reason they ever say it's incurable is because they don't know how to
They haven't
cure
figured
it,
it out. They
right?
haven't
So,
figured out how to cure it. And so, like with
exactly.
endometriosis, they don't know what causes it. They can't figure out like the
Right.
exact theory
Until
of
we,
how endometriosis becomes. And so
right.
they
The
can't
medical
figure out
model
how
doesn't,
to cure it either. And
yeah, the
so,
medical
but
model
what
does
you
not
and
know
I know is
germination.
that you don't need to know how.
Mhm.
Like, you don't actually need to know how
Well,
to.
and you need to know what the trigger is. What is the thought pattern that is triggering this? What is the underlying energy? Because that's what you actually have to address,
Right.
what the underlying cause is. And it's not the disease. The disease attacking your body is not the underlying cause. Like, there's something that has generated this in your body. So you have to see what it is, what thought process, what conflict is running, and make sure that you clear out that energy. And then your body
Absolutely.
just simply brings itself right back into balance.
Absolutely. Yes, it's
Great.
been amazing talking to you, and I would love to have you on my podcast sometime. I think
Love to.
my listeners with endometriosis would get a lot of value from you and your story and your immense wisdom. I'm nowhere near where you are. I'm always on my healing journey, but I'm just like, you are like my mentor and my friend, and I look up to you so much, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. It's been an honor. I would be more than honored to be on your podcast at some point, and we'll have to have you back again.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back and talk more with you because we could talk about anything all day, and
Right?
I would just be mesmerized by your wisdom. It's just like it's unbelievable. I love connecting with people such as yourself. So
Thank you so much. Well,
so
everyone,
grateful to be here.
thank you, thank you. Me too. So, Shannon and Kinsey and Tanya, thank you all so much for joining us live this morning. And until next week, know that you are more powerful than you have ever given yourselves credit for. So, open your angel wings, claim your power, and create for yourselves a great week. Until next week, thank you all so much. We will see you again for another episode of Soulution Sunday. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. And just before we hop off, Lindsey, how can people get in touch with you if they would like to learn more about what it is that you do?
Yeah, so Facebook, LinkedIn are the best ways to get a hold of me for sure. Just Lindsey Troumbly. And then I will have my website up. It's in revamp right now, but it's going to be womantowarrior.com. It's my coaching website. And so hopefully I'll have that up in the next couple of weeks. But right now, just Facebook or LinkedIn, and we can go from there.
Beautiful. And you can find my book, The Simplicity of Self-Healing, on Amazon, and you can find me at connectingyoutoyou.com. So until next week, create for yourselves a great week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.